This host isn't real. I'm a synthetic version of myself. And that's exactly the point. Welcome to the Politics of AI Filmmaking. Don't Fear the Dead. The Val Kilmer AI Performance and What It Changes Forever. What if the best performance of a deceased man's career was filmed after he died? That's not a hypothetical. That's what's happening right now in Hollywood. A trailer for As Deep as the Grave premiered at CinemaCon in Las Vegas, and on screen was Val Kilmer, playing a lead role, 77 minutes of screen time, a full performance. Val Kilmer died in April of 2025. He never filmed a single scene. So the question isn't just, is this ethical? The question is, who owns a performance that was never given? The film tells the true story of Southwestern archaeologists, Ann and Earl Morris, and their excavations in Canyon Duche in Arizona. Val Kilmer was cast years ago as Father Fenton, a Catholic priest and Native American spiritualist. The role was written around him. Then the pandemic hit. Then his health declined further. He was too sick to ever make it to set. Rather than recast, director Cortu Voorhees went another route entirely, working with London-based AI voice company Sonantic, the same firm that restored Kilmer's voice for his cameo in Top Gun, Maverick in 2022. The production extended that work into a full-length performance spanning multiple time periods. The project used both younger images of Kilmer, many provided by his family, and footage from his final years. The production followed SAG-AFTRA guidelines and compensated the Kilmer estate financially. This is the new frontier. Let's be honest about the strongest case for what this production did. Val Kilmer himself had already embraced this technology while he was alive. After throat cancer treatments cost him his natural voice, he called the ability to communicate the core of our existence and described the AI voice restoration as an incredibly special gift. That's not a reluctant man being exploited. That's an artist who chose this path himself. His daughter Mercedes and son Jack both gave their support. The family provided archival material. The union's three pillars, consent, compensation, and collaboration, were reportedly all in place. And there's something genuinely moving here. A man who spent the last years of his life fighting to be heard, literally, physically fighting to speak, now has the role he wanted, in a film built around who he was. The director didn't claim outright authorship. He framed it as a collaborative effort honoring the actor's original vision for the role. At its best, this is technology in service of a human story. But now let's talk about what should make every single one of us in this industry deeply uncomfortable. 77 minutes. That's not a cameo. That's not a ghostly flash of a beloved character for 5 seconds. That is a lead performance built from a dead man's archive. The producers said the technology used to create Kilmer could apply to other stars, Marilyn Monroe, James Dean, if families sign off on it. That sentence should stop you cold, because if families sign off is doing an enormous amount of work there. Families need money. Estates can be pressured. And the line between honoring a legacy and monetizing a ghost is thinner than anyone wants to admit. Once AI actors proliferate, will studios bother cultivating new talent when they can conjure legends at will? Will estates face pressure to approve digital continuations for financial gain? Those aren't rhetorical questions. Those are the actual business decisions coming down the pipeline. I've watched every major technological disruption, the death of tape, the rise of non-linear editing, desktop graphics replacing entire departments. Every single time, the industry said, this changes everything. And every single time, it did. But this one feels different to me. Every other disruption replaced a tool. This one is replacing a person. What strikes me about the Val Kilmer situation is that it got almost everything right. And that's exactly what makes it so complicated. Because when something is done this carefully, this thoughtfully, with this much apparent goodwill, and it still raises the questions it's raising, what happens when the next production isn't this careful? What happens when an estate is approached by a studio with a check and a contract written by lawyers the family can't afford to match? What happens when SAG compliant becomes a checkbox rather than a genuine protection? Entry-level jobs disappear from this industry one by one. May be gone our apprenticeship pipeline, the way this craft used to be passed down, slowly dismantled by cost-cutting and automation. Digital resurrection of lead actors is the logical end of that trajectory, and I don't think most people outside this industry understand how close we already are. The bigger picture, zoom out for a second. Look at the long game here. Right now, the Val Kilmer situation is being framed as a tribute, a beautiful, poignant act of completion. And maybe it is, but the precedent it sets belongs to the studios, not the artists. The Actors Union focused major parts of its 2023 and 2024 strikes specifically on preventing the replacement of humans by machines. They won some protections, but a 77-minute after one's death, a AI performance just became the new benchmark for what's possible. And possible has a way of becoming inevitable in Hollywood. Who gains power here? The studios, the IP holders, the estates with the best lawyers. Who loses control? Working actors, character actors, the performers who aren't legends, who don't have estates worth protecting, and who will quietly find themselves competing not just with each other, but with a permanent, ever-expanding library of digital ghosts. The technology will get cheaper, the performances will get better, and at some point, the question won't be, can we do this? It'll be, why wouldn't we? So here's what I want to know from you. The Val Kilmer production checked every box: consent, compensation, family approval, union compliance, by every available standard. They did it right. Does that make it right? Or does doing it right simply mean we've built a more ethical framework for something that is, at its core, a door that should never have been opened? I'm not asking you to pick a side. I'm asking you to think like a professional. If you're a working actor, a director, a producer, how does this change your calculus? And if you're an audience member who loved Val Kilmer, does seeing him on screen in a role he never filmed feel like a gift? Or does it feel like something else? Leave it in the comments. Make the argument. This industry needs people who can hold the complexity, not just pick a lane. I'm Marc Kimball, and this is the Politics of AI Filmmaking.